Now, I am delighted to say that I am joined by Ayeisha McFerran as we look ahead to the Irish Olympic Awards, which are coming up on December 6th. And Ayeisha is up for the McKeever Sports Creator of the Year award alongside Daniel Whiffen and Rhys McClenaghan. Ayeisha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's it's nice to not be the one sitting on that side of the interview for once.
Well, I was going to ask you how you feel about it, because obviously you're up for your podcast, which has had incredible success over the last year or so since you started it. You've had some incredibly interesting conversations. What has the whole process taught you? Because again, you are used to being on this side of the microphone where people are asking you about your incredible sporting achievements, but you're now getting to dive into that with some fellow athletes.
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey since it started, and one I've actually really enjoyed more than I think I thought I would. I love the ability to kind of just have a conversation with athletes and try and delve into who we are kind of outside of our sport. So many people know us for whatever sport we do. So it's nice to actually, just try and have a conversation with them and understand how they feel and how they experience different situations, scenarios, and ultimately who they are away from their sport. So yeah, it's been really fun, quite challenging, because I thought it would have just been, sit down, have a chat, which I would say I'm quite okay at. But it's been definitely a steep learning curve along the way.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, those conversations, because in the media we are privileged to have the opportunity to chat to athletes all the time, and we can ask questions about a very particular side of things where most of us have never been, professional athletes. But I think you're seeing more and more that people who are from those fields are stepping into it. You even look at the likes of, say, David Gillick and all the great work that he's doing trackside at different athletics championships. How have you found, your own reflections on your own career have changed at all, because you are talking to people who, while it may not necessarily be the same sport, you've had Olympians, Paralympians, loads of different types of people on. Do you find that it kind of changes how your perspective of how you've approached your career so far?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's changed my perspective. I think it's opened my eyes to other ways of looking at things. I always say we're the construct of our own normal. We're the only one who experiences what we go through. And so that's where I feel that it's opened my eyes more to that, to understanding that everyone has their own story. Everyone comes from a completely different background, and everyone has their own journey to how they've got to where they are. And I think that aspect is so interesting. And I think ultimately as people and as athletes, we just want to be known for being good people and ideally good at what we do. But we just want to connect and share stories, and people want to have something to connect to. And hopefully that's coming across in what I'm trying to do.
It definitely is. It's an incredibly good listen, one that I've really enjoyed over the last year or so listening to. In terms of the conversations you've already had, has there been one that's particularly stood out to you in sitting there and going, wow, I've really learned something, or wow, I had great crack doing that, or I've just found out something new that I didn't know before?
There's honestly, so many people ask me this question, and I actually find it really hard to reflect back, because every conversation is so different in so many ways. Ultimately, I kind of have two, which I kind of always fall back on. There was, in my first season, I did one with one of my teammates, Lena Tices, people might know her. And we both come from very different backgrounds, very different beliefs, outlook on life, etc., and very different experiences. But we were able to just sit and really kind of delve into a conversation, which was, I didn't find the most comfortable, but it challenged me in a way that it was just so different. So I really enjoyed that. But also chatting with Michaela Walsh, she is that girl is class. It's, the energy she brings and her outlook, and obviously everyone sees the relationship she has with Aidan, but when you speak to her and actually understand how that has formed and developed over the years, she's just amazing. And she just brought so much energy, and loved chatting to them. But all the guests so far have been brilliant. I couldn't have asked for a better a better crew to kind of have behind me when I sit down and chat to them.
Well, that's two recommendations for anyone that hasn't listened to Unboxed yet. They can go and start with those two and then work their way through the episodes. There's a good 20 or so episodes out now. Is there more?
Yeah, I think there's 25 now. I'm actually currently planning on my next season, so that'll be a big drop start of the new year. So I've already had some brilliant guests recorded and lined up. So I'm actually really excited to get that new season out.
That's brilliant. Do you have a bucket list of people that you would like to get on the podcast? Because I know, and I don't know if this is sad or not, but here at Off the Ball, you know, often you go for a couple of drinks or something after work on a Friday, and we'll all sit around and talk about who our dream guest interviews would be.
Oh, I think like within the whole sporting world, there's so many incredible athletes that you're just like, you'd love to just like pick their brain for like 10 minutes. But ultimately for me, I want to use my platform to give us Irish athletes an opportunity to share our story. I think a lot of the time it comes back that it's the big names, the medal winners who have kind of always done everything. And yeah, for me, I believe that us Irish individuals and us Irish people have fascinating stories, and we're very good storytellers in what we do. So yeah, any of the Irish athletes go on, like, come on, I'll get you on with some crack, like, you know. But yeah, you've got your big ones like, yeah, LeBron James, would love to tap into his mind for 10 minutes. Djokovic as well, see him again. So completely different from each other. Serena Williams, Ilona Maher, like, yeah, you can name all the iconic athletes, but for me, yeah, my goal is to try and get us Irish athletes and share our stories along the way.
Well, it's interesting that you mention Ilona Maher there, because she's part of this cohort of specifically female athletes who have kind of branched out into social media and content creation with the acknowledgement that, you know, your sports career, however successful it can also be quite short, and you do need something outside of it. And that's something that you've talked quite passionately about as well. You know, the opportunities for getting payment or even funding are still like growing, especially in women's sport. And we've seen, I think, female athletes in particular really grab this by the horns over recent years. And even you look at some of the like footballers in the WSL, they're doing the same thing and diversifying into this area. And because of that, are reaching audiences that aren't just necessarily sporting audiences, but people that are interested in their personalities and the stories that they have to tell. Is that something that you found?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is that realization that, okay, your sport doesn't last forever. We don't get the same money and funding that a lot of men's athletes and individuals do. But also the athletes who, like, I play international level. I've been fortunate to play there for over 10 years, almost 12 years now. Well, long. Jeez. But I'm not walking away with a chunk of change at the end of it. Like, I need to have something else to fall onto. So for me, I use it in a few different ways where I enjoy it. I like to be creative. It's a bit of fun. But also it gives me something where, okay, if my hockey career was to end tomorrow, okay, could I use this to go into and find another avenue of income? So you're seeing it more and more where female athletes are, yeah, as you said, they are starting to do that and really grab hold of that. But also there's the element of people want to see female athletes. They want to understand who we are and what we also do. Like, we are interesting people as well. We are brilliant athletes along the way. So people are understanding now. It's not just all about, yeah, the male athletes, the big, like, interesting, yeah, male typical dominant sports. Female athletes are also so interesting and really, yeah, attractive to support financially, get behind, and yeah.
And also just fun to watch as well.
They are indeed, because that's the thing. It's like so many people, like, whenever you're chatting to them, they're just like, oh, I didn't realize, like, say, women's football was this good, or same with hockey. And it's like, yeah, that's because you haven't given it the time of day to even have 10 seconds to sit down and watch it, to actually see skillful, talented, strong, athletic women do what they do. So yeah, it's nice to see that it's going in that direction, but I still don't believe we're anywhere near there yet. And yeah, maybe in the future.
Yeah, and actually I think there's a lot of potential in that growth, and there's a lot of pitfalls, because you also don't want it to necessarily just follow the pattern of male sports and how they have grown and developed. Like, I think it's an amazing opportunity to develop a new, more sustainable, more healthy path as well for a lot of our athletes. What drew you, as we're talking about like people creating content and going down different paths, what drew you to a podcast in particular? Like, what was it in your own experiences that made you think, actually, no, this long form content rather than maybe the shorter, snappier things that a lot of other people go for, that's the right thing for me?
I think most people that know me would probably tell you I could chat to a brick wall and have a great conversation. To be honest, and I've always been told I've been such a chatterbox, like from young growing up, but ultimately a lot of it came back to me if I think about my childhood and yeah, kind of how I grew up and got into the system. I come from foster care. You don't hear of many athletes or any individuals really. It's a big taboo. No one talks about it. And so for me, I would thought back, okay, if I was 12, 13, going into the system, like struggling with my family, losing my mom, I would have loved to have heard things like that. I would have loved to have heard that people speak about it and speak about going into the system, because as a kid in that, you think you're the one at fault. You're placed in someone else's home, you're taken away from your siblings, but ultimately it's never the kid's fault. So I think back like that, where I'm like, okay, how can I actually get that across authentically, and how can other athletes get their messages and their stories across authentically, and do it in a space and a timing that's right for them. I think that, yeah, that's something that I really enjoy doing and sharing, and I see that more and more where people actually want to delve into a story. It's not they want to get, yes, you want to get hooked in the short snappy content, but they want to actually sit down and listen and really appreciate, okay, what this individual has done to get to where they are. And that's why I think I prefer that podcast element. Yes, of course, the fun snappy content it's there, like 100%, you have to grasp it as well. But yeah, podcasting for me, I think I enjoy just sitting down behind a mic and just really having a conversation with people.
They all serve different purposes. You know, you can't watch the short, snappy content if you're driving somewhere, or you're out on a walk trying to enjoy nature and get away from the digital world for a little bit. That can be, a podcast is generally the perfect way to unwind a little bit, and I suppose like learn something new about yourself with the sort of conversations that you're having on the podcast, where people are talking about very personal things as well as the sporting careers that they had and the things that we would normally be used to hearing about from them. Do we get any sneak peeks into the new season as to who might be coming up?
Let's just say there's a few Olympic gold medalists that are might appear.
Well, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
It's quite good.
We'll use that as the tagline to make sure people go and listen and subscribe. And I assume it's on all the normal platforms where people get their podcasts.
Yeah, on all the platforms. So go follow it wherever you are. Send it to Sally down the road if you can. Girls just trying to get good audiences here. But yeah, also on the Instagram page as well. There's a lot of short, snappy content that some people like to catch up on as well. So yeah, go give a girl a follow at Unboxed Pod.
Perfect. And then how are you getting on just generally outside of the podcast and in the sporting world? I know some difficulties last year, but seem to be coming out the other side now.
We were coming out the other side, unfortunately. Yeah, I've just got injured again, so I've had quite a kind of turbulent 18 months just with injuries. And being a goalkeeper, we end up in really bizarre positions. So yeah,
particularly in hockey, I feel.
Yeah, particularly in hockey, you kind of just drop into the splits and sort of bend backwards on yourself as you do, everyday positions. But yeah, so I've just picked up another knee injury again, so looks like I'll be rehabbing for the next while anyway. But yeah, still very much involved with the team, trying to get them going and helping them wherever I can. So we have Pro League coming up in December, which will be really exciting, hosting that in Dublin. So people will still hear me about it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds great. Because it was your MCL that you did. So was it like a kind of re-injury of that, or is it something different?
It's the same injury, just on the other knee.
Oh God. So what is it about sportswomen's and their knees? They just seem to take an awful battering.
Yeah, honestly, and it's just been really unfortunate because both were, while I was playing, both non-contact, just happened. So yeah, between my knee, then my ankle, and then my knee again, I've had a good run of battering myself. So hopefully now I can kind of patch myself back together, get my head sorted, and then come back out on the other side.
I assume the podcast is helpful in terms of giving you something else then to think about when you are going through that time rehabbing. I know a lot of athletes have said, especially if you're in a team sport, sometimes you can feel a little bit separated from the team because you might not be, you're obviously not doing full trainings with them. You may be rehabbing in and around them, but it's slightly different experience. Has the podcast been helpful in terms of keeping you on that straight track mentally as well as physically?
Yeah, 100%. It's nice, even if whenever I was fully in one piece, as I say, it's a nice distraction, nice to have something completely away from your sport and kind of really invest yourself in. But yeah, for me, when I look at the past 18 months, 13 I've spent rehabbing with another few months to go. It's definitely something that I tap into and just, crack my headphones on and just listen, whether I'm on a bike, on a skier, in the gym. Yeah, I've all sort of variety of genres of podcasts that I listen to. So it's nice just to kind of get in and not really, you're doing your rehab, but you're kind of distracted in a way, which at times it's really needed because mentally it is really tough. But it is what it is. It's part of the job sometimes, and you just have to find a way to get through it.
You've intrigued me now. What are your go-to podcasts outside of Unboxed and Off the Ball, of course, obviously as well?
Obviously, it's top of the list, but I do love a good murder mystery crime twisty one. So Crime Junkies, for anyone out there, I may as well, I need to get onto them for free advertising here, but it's a very good one. A lot of episodes, so anytime I'm driving anywhere, like that's straight away on the car, the tune of it. Dish also, it's a
I love Dish.
Yeah, food podcast, but love them. Great.
I want to be best friends with Angela Hartnett. I'm like, please, can I become famous someday so that you'll come to my house and cook for me?
Well, like between the pair of them, the fact that they're literally just discussing now how they're going to have Christmas together, I'm like, I want to come. Like, I feel like I'm their best friend. But that's a really good one. And then also Great Company with Jimmy Lang.
Yes.
Again, another good one. Really interesting guests, and really, like, recently there was one with Joanne McNally and I loved it. Couldn't have related any more to a lot of what she was saying, and just also listening to their experiences and how she kind of shares. Great conversation. Or Great Company is another one with good conversation.
Jamie Lang is interesting as well, because he's kind of similar to what you were saying about, we all had this perception of who he was from like Made in Chelsea, the cheeky chappy, and has totally, I don't want to say rehabbed his image, because it wasn't necessarily bad before. It was just people would have probably thought of a reality TV star, maybe not a whole lot more going on apart from the drama. And now he's created this like series of podcasts. Yeah, I know he has a couple of other, like one with his wife as well, where he is having these conversations with people and they're kind of opening up and saying, actually, no, like, I was quite depressed at that time when we were filming those scenes, or I was feeling like this at a certain point when everyone thought my career was taken off. And again, it's that perspective of having been in the industry or similar industries. You can kind of really get people to open up.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it all, is especially being an athlete. Like, I'm just having a conversation with other athletes about what we experience. And I think that's what, you see it with Jamie, you see it with a lot of people. People just assume based on what you do or your job or whatever, that's who you are, that's everything about you. So there's been a lot of kind of, connections in a way for myself where I can relate to what Jamie's saying because of that, because everyone has this perception of me as being a hockey goalkeeper, big, loudmouth, dramatic, but actually, like, and I would say I'm an extroverted introvert. Like, I like talking to people, but I need to come back, and I'm actually quite insecure because like everyone, you just want people to like you. So there's a lot of things like that where it's quite reflective on myself and my journey as well, and what I've done.
Well, Ayeisha, best of luck with it. And also best of luck at the Olympic Awards. So you're up for the McKeever Sports Creator of the Year alongside Daniel Whiffen and Reese McClenaghan. Those awards are happening next Saturday in Dublin, which will be very exciting to get everyone together in a room and celebrate. A reminder as well that Off the Ball are the official media partners for the awards. So we'll be there capturing all the content. We'll be doing your job for once on the night, Ayeisha. We'll be there chatting to everyone on the red carpet, and also doing interviews with everyone who has won awards afterwards as well. So stay tuned for that. But for now, Ayeisha, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.